Alright, fine, I admit it. I've measured it a few times. Just a few though. I don't obsess over it. But the question is, was I measuring it right? I mean, facial hair. You can measure it several different ways. Are you measuring it from underneath your chin down to the end? Or, how are you measuring your facial hair? Well, today we're going to talk about exactly what the right ways to get the proper length on your mustache and beard are. Now, before we get into how we're going to be measuring our facial hair, we need a measuring device. And the first one that you might think of is, oh, that's simple, just grab a ruler. However, there are a couple of things to consider when using a ruler to measure. One of those is it one of these bendy type ones that you can get pretty much everywhere now, especially like dollar stores and stuff? I would suggest against these because it's just going to make things more complicated, because you're going to have to pay attention to if it's straight, if it's curved or anything anywhere. So stay away from these bendy ones like this. The second consideration is that most rulers have a little buffer between the 0 mark and the actual end of the stick. So you need to compensate for that when you are taking your measurements. Now usually this might be a 1/16 to 2/16 added to the end of the ruler, so you can figure out the math that way, or you can just line up your hairs to that mark. However, I find that when you're looking in the mirror and such, you are gonna find that that's a little bit complicated. So if you don't want to do that, a good option is to go out to your garage and you may have a yardstick like this. Now, some yardsticks like you find in schools still have a buffer on them because they're for learning and not really precise work. So if you have one that's actually for work, most of the time, from what I have seen, they start out on the 0 mark and then start counting immediately. So that's good, because then you can just line up the hair to here and measure it out properly. Then of course you've also got your good old tape measure to measure out your lengths. Now, although I don't have my long goatee beard right now, I used to measure my goatee to see how long it was, and I found out that I was doing it wrong, because I was actually taking a ruler, I think this one actually, and I was putting it underneath the chin, measuring from the bottom of the chin down. And although that gets an idea of how long the hair is underneath your chin, that's not the proper beard length, because a proper beard length needs to be measured from the bottom of the lip right here all the way down to the longest hair in your beard. So to do so, what you're going to do is you're going to line up the measuring device with the very bottom of your lip, and you can pull out gently the beard hair until you're just about to the very last longest hair, and then you can take your measurement there. Now remember, this is going to get you an actual length of your beard hair and not the appearance length of your beard hair. To get the appearance length, you are just simply going to line it up again and let your beard, after brushing it or doing your normal grooming routine with it, you're just going to line it up as you would normally and see where it falls. And wherever it falls, well, that is your current measurement. Of course, go with the longest portion of the beard. To measure a mustache length, usually you're only going to be doing this if you have a handlebar mustache or an English style mustache and you just want to know how long your mustache is. Now, I used to think that you would measure from the center of the nose here and measure out to the longest hair. That made sense to me. However, I have since learned that you are actually going to measure from tip to tip. And the easiest way to do this is to skip any curling that you would do after a shower if you are blow drying it into a curl, if you are using curlers in it, or any other method to pre-train that before you add the wax into it. You're gonna want to skip that. Now what I would suggest is if you do have a little bit of a curl still in it, that you brush it out and blow dry it as straight as you can. This is gonna help you to get a nice long mustache in proper length measurement. Now you can do it dry like this, however I do prefer to add a little bit of a wax, so I will be right back after doing that. Alright, so now that my mustache is waxed in an English style, what I am mainly paying attention to when I waxed for this was to make sure that those tips are nice and waxed and straight. And anything in between, any of the shorter hairs, I'm not too worried about them right now because honestly they weren't going to make up the length anyway. So I just made sure that I worked from my inside out to pull those hairs straight in line with each other so that I can get a proper measurement. Now on this side I do have one little dinky hair that is just a little bit longer than the rest. I'm personally not going to count that because it's a single hair. So I'm going to go by the majority length on both of these sides to find out what my mustache length actually currently is. Now that I have my mustache waxed, my measuring device, and I also have a little mirror here to help me be able to see what the actual measurement is, I'm simply going to take the ruler and put it right on my lip line and rest the mustache just about right on top of the yardstick. Now I'm going to put my finger down here and move it till I feel my hair. Okay, there we go. Alright, now that I got that side lined up, it's time to line up the other and see how long my mustache is. Now as long as I don't move the ruler right or left on my face, I will get the proper measurement on this side. And my mustache comes out to right there, which as it turns out is just about 9.5 inches. So 9.5 would be my mustache length. Now this is how you do any of the longer mustaches, whether it is a Fu Manchu, handlebars, or anywhere in between. You're going to try and get the tip from the tip. And now that you know how to properly measure your mustache, I would like to know down in the comment section, how long is your mustache or beard? To learn how to properly take care of your mustache, check out these videos up here. Down below, that's going to be a video that you may enjoy as well. Until next time, as always, you have a good one.